Yo,
Yo.
What's up, man?
what's up? What's up? Give me 2 seconds, I need to put some pants on. You feel me?
Okay. I have a hot question. In America, we say African American. What do you say in England?
This is what you want on your podcast, Nick? I'm not even dignifying that response. You fucking twat.
I was working up the courage to say that.
You've been planning that.
Yeah, I was. I've got another burning question here. Ollie, so you and I have known each other for what, like 15 years?
Yeah.
When are we gonna fuck?
I mean, you've had the opportunity, bro, but you just never seized it, you know?
Yeah, well, I was never really good at that stuff anyway.
Where was this energy when I stayed at your house, when I met your parents, when I went to your brother's house, when I supported you in Germany? You know, we've spent time together.
Yeah, I mean, I've been exercising more, so I think that's maybe where it's coming from. When you exercise,
you're a hot jazz dilf now.
Yeah.
Can you hear my laptop fan? And is my camera so shit? Does it look like 2006 over here?
A little bit.
Buying another camera is like, it's just going to be another thing.
Do you have like any camera at all aside of like the webcam?
Yeah, no, I do. I have a DSLR somewhere. It was the one in 2015 or 16 or 14 or 13, maybe something like that. So I don't know if that's, I teach all my lessons like this. I probably need to sort it out because everyone looks really sharp. Well, the other thing is my laptop is pretty much dead. So that's got to happen first.
Yes.
And like, I just finished the EP. So I'm going to go on holiday and then I'll worry about that.
Yeah, I'm kind of coming off my holiday right now. Like my 2.5 months holiday. I finished my last bunch of music and I was like, you know what? I'm going to play God of War. And until I beat God of War, I'm not touching the guitar. And then it turned into, I'm going to play God of War and Last of Us 2. And then I'll pick up the guitar. And now I think I'm finally there because I just beat Last of Us 2 like 2 days ago.
Are you talking about Ragnarok or?
No, the one before, 2018.
2018. Awesome game.
Yeah, that game was sick. Did you play Last of Us 2?
No, I'm watching my friend play through 1 now, and then we're going to get on to 2. But also Elden Ring comes out today. So like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me now? Okay,
yeah,
cool. I switched to my laptop. I didn't know what was going on with the PC.
Oh, your camera looks like dog shit, bro.
Now it looks like shit. Now I look like you.
Is that are those drapes or is that wallpaper?
That is wallpaper. That is coming down. So don't worry.
Nice.
I swear I hate Nick Llerandi. Like, I think I just figured that out.
It's funny, when I was setting up the actual nice camera on my PC, I was like, I'm going to hide that wallpaper, and like tilted the frame. And of course I get a comment on it now.
Well, in your absence, we were just talking about how it's time for me to buy a camera because this looks like MySpace.
Right.
So you're still doing all right.
MySpace was good though. I remember MySpace like your shit was streamed 10,000 times today. Like, fuck that.
And people couldn't steal it, but then you wouldn't get any. Look, if we start thinking about the past, we're going to get upset.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's good to have you guys on here. I listened to that EP probably 7 or 8 times. I don't think I have a favorite track. Maybe Sirens is my favorite, actually. I kind of like those.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Here we go.
There's a joke about
intro.
that.
Is there really?
Yeah, it's just like.
Did you guys have conflicting views on what the best one is?
Yeah, I think like Sirens is the one that I really like as well. But for Ollie, like this whole thing like is experimental in a way for him, and I think that track is the most experimental of the bunch. So like it doesn't have like the Waves riff or whatever, but I think like as a song as a whole, I really enjoy it. So we've been joking about which one people will enjoy more.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of hard to. It would, yeah, I mean, if I were in your shoes, picking like one to do a music video for would definitely be tough because they're all really good. But Waves definitely does have the guitar stuff that everyone's like gonna go, oh shit, what the hell is going on there?
Yeah.
Well, we've got you covered on the music video front. Don't you worry about that.
Well, I saw the music video. You got a music video. Oh, for Sirens.
You saw a music video.
Ah, gotcha.
Have we started, by the way?
Yeah, we're going.
Okay, cool.
Oh, I like that. That's a good way to start. So this is just grapefruit seltzer.
Is that popular amongst the? What were you talking about earlier?
You
asked me a question. What was that question about?
Probably about music.
Oh, okay, cool. My mistake.
This dude.
So is there? Yeah. Okay. So I was praising the EP and all, and it is. I suppose it's good, but have you guys heard Metallica? You ever hear Master of Puppets?
Is this what we're gonna do?
How did you get Adam for this music? Were you already a fan of Aviations, or?
So I went on tour with Monuments, and I Built the Sky was supporting, and Werner, who plays bass in Aviations, was filling in for I Built the Sky. And he showed me. He's now in Monuments. Did I say that bit? He showed me some Aviations on the bus. And I'd seen one Aviations video prior to that, which would have been which one, Adam?
Probably Outliers.
That's the one, Outliers. So it's one of those things, it's like you hear a name, but you don't necessarily, you have to hear it a few times to go check it out, or you have to be shown it to actually know anything about it. And then, Werner, when I was looking for a singer for this project, Werner suggested Adam, and I checked out some of Adam's singing, and then I hit him up, and he said yes.
I think the one thing that you heard that probably made you reach out to me was Adam Bentley's track "Frozen" that I did.
Yeah, that was definitely the decider for me. I listened to that a lot, and I imagined a lot what you might sound like on my music, and I was definitely convinced by that tune. It was a great tune.
Yeah, that song is kind of like in the same direction, I guess, as this stuff where it's like heavy and it has like, the prog support, but it's in like a pop context kind of thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, a bit more palatable, a bit more twangy than distorted.
Right.
Is there any chance of live shows, or this more of like an online project?
So, as of recording, today is release day. So we've got all sorts of shit to handle before I even remotely think about writing music again. We've obviously spoken about doing more stuff. If it was this project, there are 4 tunes, one of which is not the length of a full tune, and another one I don't really fancy playing, but I'm probably going to have to play it if Adam was to agree that this is Sirens again. But that's not enough material for a set, right?
Yeah, it's
so there would
tight.
have to be more anyway. So this is all conversations in the future, but we're not about to go on tour next month. There just isn't enough music for that.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, you're close though, right? 4 songs. How long's the EP? 13 minutes?
Yeah.
Something like that? I guess you need at least twice as much.
Yeah, well, this is assuming that we would play everything off the EP, which I feel pretty strongly against one of, because of some technical hassle. But that's an argument for another day.
Is this the first time you did vocals on Olly Steele music?
Yeah, this is the first time. And God, it's been like a little while in the making. I think the first track that he sent me was Animals. I guess he was like, okay, yeah, cool, I'm going to send you more. And then I got the Waves riff in my email, and I was super excited because he had posted that on Instagram, and I already knew of it and whatnot. So Yeah, first bit of music with Ollie.
And Ollie, this is also the first time you've had vocals on like your own solo project stuff, I think.
No.
What was the other one?
I have tied with Andy Sizik and Katie Sable. And then I have a song called Try, which is kind of the genesis of this style, of me doing this style, which has Ian Kenny from Carnival.
Oh, gotcha. But those were just singles. They weren't like.
Yeah, for a project, this is the first one for sure. This is the closest thing to. It feels a bit more bandy in a way, because you're working with the same individuals and digging into the same vibe for an extended period of time.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Like probably the thing that has the most potential to do another EP or something.
Yeah, because you've created a universe now, not just a picture, if that makes sense. That sounded kind of...
Is there a correlation between balance and imbalance? Like a callback to that single?
Only in that it's all music that I've been involved in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just made the most sense, because when we I can't remember what point we had this conversation, but at one point there was a discussion about what themes would go on the EP, like what to talk about, what are we going through, what's happening in the world. And everything that's been happening with me just pointed more and more towards the word imbalance. It just was perfect. And it's just like a bit of fan service in a way. And then the artwork kind of ties in as well. But this musically has nothing to do with that song. So yeah, it's not that tied together, but it just felt good to do.
Yeah, I gotcha. And there's no guitar solos on any of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right? By design, just weren't feeling it.
Yeah, I always I've mentally tried to stop playing guitar solos because I just can't be asked anymore. I really cannot.
Yeah, well, like, what's the point of a guitar solo at the end of the day?
That's a deep question. I think so. For example, my last song a year ago, Tide, which is like a shreddy metal riffy distorted thing. I had ambitions to have a shreddy guitar solo, and initially, I was going to do that myself, but I just can't be asked with the stress, and I know a lot of people who could do it better than me. But that song required it. This music doesn't require it at all. And even if it did, or if we did more, I would probably be closer to the subtle side of things rather than like a showcase of technique. Do you know what I mean? At no point during any of this, I won't speak for Adam, but at least for me, at no point during any of this was I like, where's the guitar solo going to go? It just wasn't a thought.
Yeah. And as a listener, I wasn't like, I only probably realized it after listening to it through it 3 or 4 times. It's like, oh shit, I don't think there's a single solo on this whole thing, but I wasn't thinking it was missing anything. I mean, all of us have been around this kind of music now for a long time. I saw Aviations had stuff going back to 2012 and then even before that.
Nick, I think we played a show for you guys in Providence, Rhode Island. I think Will texted me about it in 2012.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Ever Forthright and Aviations. It was like, I completely forgot about that.
Was that the Auras tour?
It was at some place called Simon's. I don't know.
Oh, I remember Simon's.
I don't recall that venue at all. I've been like trying to think about it. I even Google Maps the place to see like what it looked like. Don't remember it at all.
Yeah.
Gotta have Matt Bettenker for that, because I'm pretty sure he set that up.
Yeah. Yeah. Geez, that's going back. Yeah. So I guess what I was trying to get at was like, there was definitely a period in like probably all of our musical development where we felt obligated to do certain things. And I think like, you know, going on doing this now for close to 2 decades, you kind of find you're able to better isolate like what should stick around and what you can let go. Including like, I mean, another thing is like the super high gain. I can hear it on this, and I can hear it on Aviation stuff, and I can hear it on other music kind of across the board. And the sound, I feel like people have discovered that you can get a tone that whacks with a good understanding of compression instead of leaning heavily into like distortion. Am I on the right track there? Like, do you guys kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember a change in guitar tones, like in, I don't know, like 2014 maybe, or 16. I'm not really sure exactly, but where like people started just wanting to hear the string sound and like really wanting to hear like that middle ground between something that bites and attacks really hard, but then is also kind of thumpy and thick as well. I guess this EP kind of has both in a way. But yeah.
So Ollie, did you come up with that tone like just isolated in your room, just tweaking stuff, or was that more of a studio thing? Like let's figure out what works. Do you guys like this, or do you guys like kind of workshopping it?
I made it in this room, which might have to be the last time I ever do that, because it's that classic thing of then you take it to a studio and you actually hear it. So it got tweaked a lot. I'm still not happy with it because I'm not happy with anything, but it happened in this room.
I think it sounds great.
Thank you. Basically like maybe 2015 or 16, which actually is in line with what Adam was saying. I realized I'd never used anything apart from the neck pickup before. Sorry, the bridge pickup.
Yeah.
So that's when I started getting into cleaner tones and developing some like fingerstyle stuff like Ben Lacey, or it's all the rage now. Like you've got your Tim Hensons and your Tosin Abassis and stuff. But that's when I started tinkering with it. And I think from that period is where this song Try came from, the one with Ian Kenny, which has this split coil, almost neck position 4, I think it's called, or whatever.
Yeah.
And the only reason for that is because I just get more inspired when things are sound and feel different. And I just knew personally, if I was to try and do a bridge pickup metal EP, a technical metal EP, it just wouldn't get done. In fact, I've been trying to do that. I've been trying to do that for years. I just couldn't finish anything. But because I'd messed around with that twangy stuff, I just knew that was more inspiring, a bit more fun, a bit more dynamic, and I can do new things, and therefore new things will be exciting to me, if that makes any sense. But the problem is, it is the most popular guitar sound now as well. It's like the Instagram thing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's super like the like all of the nuanced single coily stuff. It's all over the place. I mean, it's a great sound, and it almost seems like we're always at the end of the road until someone does something different that hits. Like, when again, like pulling up 2012 Aviations, listening to that stuff, it's like so much more reminiscent of like original Contortionists and Volumes and Ever Forthright and like that stuff that we were doing back in the day. Mm-hmm. And at that time, I don't think there was an inkling that, oh, hey, in like 4 or 5 years, you're going to want to dial down that distortion and like change pickups and
everything cycles as well, because
that's true.
The other thing that's going on now is this grindy, doesn't even sound like guitars anymore. Everything's an octave low or 12 semitones higher with the Digitech whammy thing. So the 1056s and the knocked looses, these barely sound like guitar amps anymore. It sounds amazing and I really like it, but that extreme is very popular as well at the moment.
Yeah, and like the baritone guitar thing is probably going to like take over soon. I think like hardcore is going to finally like really just influence a lot of metal, like typical metal guys. I don't know. I saw Loathe and Knock Loose like a few weeks ago, and it was just kind of like, oh, okay. I feel like this is where like a lot of the heavier stuff is going to go. But yeah, less like 7/8 string pointy guitar stuff.
Yeah, Loathe did Loathe like really hit it off like at a similar caliber to like Spirit Box, or they like kind of maybe?
I think so. I think they have over 1 million like monthlies on Spotify, and they just have like, I mean, they play like Gretsch baritone guitars, and it has like an ambience to it as well. They're like, I think they're perfect for like the younger generation. So.
See, that's interesting because I think they sound quite mature in a in a non-Disney gent way. I'm not saying they sound gent, but there's something about them that I think is quite cool. They're like matte and gritty instead of gloss, if that makes any sense.
Right. No, right. Yeah. And I think like you said, everything is like cyclical. I think it's going to like kind of go that way.
Yeah.
I had the same thought with them. I listened to them and I thought someone here is a Nirvana fan, I feel like.
Right. Exactly. They didn't just grow up on what I grew up on, which is like Roadrunner, metalcore, where you scream in the verse and you sing in the chorus.
Yeah.
And they're experimenting, and I'm sure they're fucking around with stuff that they won't be able to recreate. They'll probably commit to certain things in the studio and stuff. It's very different to the way we made this EP, for example. It's sick. It's very cool. It sounds very like legitimate and authentic.
Oh, the other question. What do you mean by Disney gent?
I just mean, so you know how there is a summery playfulness to some periphery and some volumes, and maybe Aviations has a little bit of it as well. It sounds like a diss. It's not. It's just one of the flavors that's about.
It's like a good time gent.
Yeah, like summer party, California, wind in your hair, sun in your back type shit.
Yeah,
I don't know every single song of Lowe's off by heart, but I feel like that's not really their thing.
No. Their
melodic stuff is a bit more ethereal. Obviously, there's the Deftones reference. It's a bit more genuinely like sad and I don't know, together.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't sound to me like they grew up on Kill Switch Engage.
No, I got to check them out again because I don't think I've cycled through that record even 6 times. But when I was listening to it, it was very good. So do you think you guys do you think there's room to, or do you have any interest in continuing to figure out like, all right, what else can we do here? Like we've learned that this works and we know that we have a particular audience that expects a certain sound from us, but you know, I guess just being an artist, it's kind of not part of our duty, but it's just something we're always on a quest for, is to find a new sound that might unlock a new era of, you know, sounds, or it might inspire a generation to copy you, or like, do you think there's room to keep on figuring out like, okay, what's the next thing here? Like this EP, we tried this, that, and the other thing, which we've never done before. The next EP, I really want to try this.
So I do think, I was thinking about this today actually, and I do want to inspire people, but I look for new things and innovative things because I don't feel like I'm being properly creative if I don't. And I just like to try and make a new song each time. So for example, if we were to do more shit, I'd like to think that anyone who likes what we've just done would like it too. But Waves was a big deal for me because that had a piano in it and it has like a main iconic riff type thing. But that has now been done for me. So I wouldn't, if we were going to go and do another EP or another album, I wouldn't be like, which one's going to be the piano song, or Sirens, the focus there is it's as much fingerstyle playing as I could get in. Cool. That's been that thing now. I would say, can I write a song with just me fingerstyle accompanying Adam, like a bar duo, or what would it sound like if Adam was just on synths, or what would Adam sound like if I was playing a lower tuned guitar or a heavier distorted, things like that, anything that makes the situation different to what we've done, because trying to tread what we've already done just seems like a complete waste of time to me. So I'm sure it would be great, and the working relationship was really good. I think Adam might tell you otherwise, but the approach I wouldn't want to be the same, because I would want a different result. Same universe, same themes, but I would have to fucking move away from Drop D. You know, I feel like we really
milked that
did
one.
Drop D. Yeah,
I got you. I mean, I was thinking this the other day too, actually, because Billy
can scream too, and we didn't use it. So
I think it's good.
There's a whole list of shit.
Yeah, I think it's good to practice restraint like that. Because then it might be really cool to drop a single with Adam where he's screaming his ass off, and then it's just like, it's kind of fun to. Anyway, what I was getting at was, I was talking to Billy about this yesterday. I think like treating process like its own instrument. Like this is how we did this whole record, or this is how we did this song. Like, what can we change in our process to come up with to find a different result? Like, we could still be ourselves and we could still write the way that we want to write, maybe tweak some parameters, but maybe we try something remote. Like, can you like remote into my computer and I'll track guitar from home, but you're driving the bus from your place. Or sometimes like I've been thinking about trying a completely different guitar. Seeing what energy I get out of a different guitar. Like you were just saying, the Gretsch stuff. Like, I'm pretty sure if I was playing a 6-string Gretsch in drop whatever, I would be playing completely different stuff.
Right.
Than playing my 7-string guitars. Or I also, like, in the last year, picked up a couple different amps, and I've found that those give off a different energy. Like the sound of the Bad Cat has like a totally different flavor, and it makes me want to play different stuff than my Friedman. And then of course different from this 5150 I have here. So yeah, I'm curious about if there's anything else here to dig into, or if you guys have any other thoughts. But like treating process like its own instrument.
Well, one interesting thing is we did do it all remotely. We wrote the whole thing over Zoom, just meetings and emailing demos. The only time we met in person, the music was written. We were just shooting videos and making content when Adam flew over, because Adam's in Boston and I'm in London. But that's an interesting thing, and I do think that you need to be efficient enough at something through repetition to try and get consistent results. But I don't want consistent result. The only consistent I want it to be undeniably great, whether it's your thing or not. That's what I'm always trying to reach for. But much like what you just said, I'd rather someone take all my 6 strings away, or take this modeler away, or put my studio in another room, because I don't want to do the same thing. So the gray area in how things get together or how things are done, I'm kind of into that in a strange way. I don't know, what are your thoughts, Adam?
Yeah, no, I'm trying to write my own music. I dabble in guitar, so like I'm figuring out how to like get my own demos going and whatnot. And just last night I was trying to record vocals for one of my things, and like I have a harmonizer plugin from Waves. It's not really the best one, but learning how to use that and just forcing myself to do different things and use different tools will kind of probably like push me to finding new ideas altogether. So like I think we're all like saying the same thing here. Just different ways to approach it.
Yeah, well, there are definitely people that have unlocked a certain thing and they're totally happy with like, oh shit, I got it. Like this is the recipe. My audience loves this. I'm going to, this is what I'm going to do. Like I figured it out. That's not for me though. Are you saying I'm wrong, or are you just saying that's not for you?
No. I'm saying that's not the one for me either.
Yeah.
But your whole thing is improvisational music is the top, right?
It's like,
this is the conversation we had last time.
Yeah.
And I'm not like that, but I think I probably get from the way I do my thing what you get from the way you do your thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of spinning the wheels a little bit, but I know what it sounds like if I write a 3-minute song in drop D with a twangy 4-position tone and I get Adam to sing on it. And that doesn't mean that we won't work our knots off trying to make phrasing work and structures work and the right harmonies and which kind of voices. And he's got a bunch of voices, I'm not saying that work won't go into it, but like, I just feel like I know what that's like. I don't know what it feels like if I'm reduced to a crunch sound or a fuzz
Right.
sound or an 8 string, and that's in conjunction with Adam's thing, or like Adam mentioned the harmonizer. There's a song called Animals where there's like a Daft Punk robot voice thing. I can't even remember where the fuck that came from, but that was a new, fresh thing. So I wouldn't now want to, that's the gimmick, and put that on a few new songs. It worked one time, and all I want to do is just find the next shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes that could be a bit hard. It's like, oh, that sounds so good. Like, let's do it again. But then by doing it again, you've kind of fucked up the first one. Like
but you know what as well? Like, it depends, because some bands put out the same album every time, and I'm like, boys, we get it. But some bands that translates as, like, there's a band called Aborted, death metal band from Holland, and I just think they're the most consistent, sickest death metal band ever. I'm sure someone else could maybe look at that and go, and they've had a few member changes and they changed producer here and there and stuff, but ultimately it's gruesome, gory, brutal death metal. And every time they release, I just feel like they're the sickest. But someone else might look at that and be like, they've made that album before, but I don't feel that way.
Yeah. So this makes me think of something I've been also thinking about a lot. So when was the first time you listened to Aborted? Like 18, 19, 20?
How old was I?
Yeah.
16 years old.
16. Yeah. So maybe you guys have come up with the same theory or have thought about this to some extent, but I've been thinking a lot lately that ballpark of age, like 16 to about 20, what people listen to then is like, that's it. That's like the cigarette, you know, like the people, it doesn't matter what I write for the rest of my life. The people that heard Ever Forthright 1 when they were 17 years old, I can't beat that for that individual, because that is like, it's ingrained in their neuroscience. It's there. There's nostalgia. There's nostalgia and all these emotions baked in with those feelings of being 17 years old and listening to this album in like your car when you were like with your other nerdy projects.
Even if you've done it better before or after, that is the first time they were exposed to that thing.
Yeah.
So Monuments have an album which I do not consider our best. I have one that I do consider our best, but the amount of people who tell me the one that I don't consider our best, I don't think it's shit. But they're like, man, that album changed my life and all this shit. And I'm like, really? More than this one? And it's because of exactly what you're talking about.
Which ones are those?
And you chase it.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Which ones are those?
I'm not doing it.
Were you going to add something to that?
The formative years, like what you just said, Nick, is like studied and everything. Like the music that you listen to from in your late teens you're gonna listen to on your deathbed, essentially. Like I still jam The Fall of Troy like once a week. I'll listen to one of the songs or try to learn a song. And I think the goal, if you're gonna like try and expand and really gain audience, is to just keep capturing those kids, with every release. Instead of trying to satisfy like the 22-year-old who you recently captured as a 17 or 18-year-old, you just go for whoever's 17 and 18 at the time.
Yeah. So that was going to be my next question. Is that like part of the job, part of the job of the the musician? Okay, here comes my fourth album. How am I going to like appease? How am I going to like embrace the importance of brand loyalty, like make my existing customers happy, but also I need to get those 17-year-olds hooked on cigarettes. That's what I really need to do.
Yeah. I think though, naturally, like if Olly were to do like a ballad thing or like some kind of hybrid picking thing with just me on vocals, like it's still going to be his sound. It's still going to be like his parts. It might like sonically or aesthetically be different, but, I think it's like the fan or listener's responsibility to be like, oh, I see, like he's still doing him, but there's this thing going on. Like it's like a balancing act. But yeah, it's just a weird thing.
it depends on what your brand is as well, because I don't expect the same album from Steve Vai ever. I know he's going to be in a cave coming up with nuts alien shit. And I know that he's going to cover a bunch of different genres, and it's going to be his approach to different things. So he picked up a 7-string for Bad Horsey or whatever with a slide. And then he has a yai pedal on the song called Yai, and he tried to replicate Bulgarian wedding music with Freak Show Excess, which is an amazing song. At no point was I like, oh, I want another Lydian guitar ballad with a... I'm just interested in the artist and the shit that he can do.
Yeah, what he's working on.
But I listened to Steve Vai for that. If Killswitch, who are my Fall of Troy, who just they'll never leave me. And when you said Deathbed, I really felt that. I was like, shit, that's really what it is.
Yeah.
If they came out with an album with a didgeridoo and a kazoo and a fucking all this shit, I would be disappointed because I want to hear Killswitch Engage music.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think it really depends on why you're making the music, who are you making it for, the audience or yourself, your own artistry, and then also what the audience expect of you as an artist. So it's quite nuanced and complicated, and you can go nuts thinking about it.
There's something else I find really interesting is there's also like a particular association you have with different sounds. So like, first of all, Olly, I like your stuff. I like your style. Adam, I haven't really listened to you before. Hearing you on the single you guys released, was it last week or just the other day? Mm-hmm. The way you sing, there was something about it that reminded me a little bit of Reign of Kindo, which I like a lot. So I was like, oh shit, this is number one. This is a great combo. I like how you guys sound together. But then I got curious. I was like, what else does this guy work on? I've never given Aviations a shot until the other day. And I was like, oh, this is right up my alley. Exactly what I want to listen to. So there's that, like where an artist will do something, different, or will collaborate with another artist. And then you have, these associations that like the listener already has with something else, kind of connecting things and bringing things around.
Right. I think like, we all kind of share the same influences, so. And it just kind of
nice one, Omar.
I was mainly just agreeing and saying like, yeah, we likely probably share like a ton of the same, favorite bands and influences, and it just like ends up showing in the music, I think.
So I'm just going to bounce off what Omar is saying. This is what is quite exciting about working with someone like Adam, where Adam can be, so Aviations are nuts, and they already just inside of their, 6 of you?
Yeah.
5 of you? They already cover so many different like textures and flavors. And then with me, we've done like a twangy, genty, trying to border on pop or alternative rock thing. That was kind of what it became, what the focus became. But Adam could also just do true pop tracks, or he could do a screamo track. But like the fact that he has the ability to do all of those things, that makes me want to make more. Because we could go to so many places. We could go even softer, even more commercial. We could go, like, let's say if we decided today to make an album, I 100% would want to do one short, sub 3-minute brutality screamathon. Do you know what I mean? Just to see how high the ceiling is, how low, what can we really do with all this ability and all these different ideas. So the fact that, I don't know if that is bouncing off what I said, but it just hit me. And I wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, but at the same time, you wouldn't take out the didgeridoo. Maybe not.
Do you know why I said didgeridoo? Is because when I first joined Monuments, so this is quite interesting actually. When I first joined Monuments, I was very much in my metalcore 4/4 Roadrunner shit, and Mike put a didgeridoo in one song, and they're doing all this. They were all like conceptual and they're all hippie and just coming up with crazy shit. And I always remember thinking, that's not metal. That's a bit too much. It's a bit too experimental. And the fact we actually had a didgeridoo in a song, I was like, that's just not Slipknot though. Then if you think about Slipknot, they're still rapping and
I could
DJ
see
decks and all
Slipknot.
this shit and the clang. But now I'm the other side of it a little bit. Now I'm like, if we have all of this ability and all this skill, I'm not just talking about me and Adam, but I'm saying if someone has the ability to go places and has an instrument that can play multiple genres and can play in multiple registers and stuff, that to me is the most exciting thing. What's not exciting is us trying to make Imbalance 2 or me making a whole album of balanced style songs or something like that. I want to see like how much chemistry, because we have chemistry. This is something we found out over time. So it's not something that's given at all, but we do. And that's a special thing.
That's
So
tough. That's really tough.
Yeah.
Especially working remote.
Yeah. Actually, that's probably worth shedding some light on the fact that we did the whole thing over a number of Zoom calls in between, you know, Adam working and my complete fucking meltdown, which I won't go into.
There's always it's not an album until there's at least one meltdown.
Right. Well, I had about 7. And we got it done and listened to I'm very proud of it and I think it's quality. And if it's not your thing, I don't think you can't say that it's not quality, even if you don't like it. And I'd like to think that you can hear the amount of care that's been put into it. And that stuff really excites me and makes me want to make more. What doesn't is playing a gent breakdown on an 8 string.
Dude, the other day I caught your live with Aaron Marshall, and what you were talking about, how you were, I forgot who you were communicating with, but you were like, oh, it was with Nolly. And you were saying how there was like a particular amount of time, like 2 days that you had to wait for something, and that entire time you were just like freaking out about it. It's like, yo, I don't want to feel like this because of whatever else was going on.
Right.
I wanted you to get into that because I was really curious as to like what you meant by all that.
Oh, okay. So I have an unreasonably emotional reaction to the music that I make. So what I don't mean that I play a chord and I'm just like rubbing my nipples and lying on the floor going like, oh, this is so good. I just mean that when things are right, I'm happy and I'm content. And when take your time.
I know people like that, man. It's funny. Sorry.
It is a thing.
And when it's not right.
Yeah. If you can see what's in reach and you know what the thing is, but it's not there yet, or you're getting a mix back and the kick's too loud, or I need to edit something because something's out of tune or whatever. It just bugs me. Like I spent so much time practicing guitar, learning guitar, meeting people, having conversations, trying to get good at this shit. So the sound of badly played guitar coming from me, I just fucking hate it. And the sound of something that I'm creating not quite going where I want it to go when I can see where I think it should go. That's one thing that was quite excruciating about being in a band as well. You know, when you feel strongly about something, but because there's not enough votes to go your way, even though you feel this strongly about it, but 3 members don't really care about it, but because they don't, do you know what I mean? This kind of thing. It just fucking bugs me. And it's like a gift and a curse because I think it results in good music where I've tried my best to cross every T and dot every I. But yeah, so that example was maybe I get a mix and something's not quite right or something's been lost in translation, but then the mix engineer is busy for a couple of days. And now instead of looping and listening to the thing that I'm really vibing on, I'm going to keep listening to it because I'm completely obsessed with this thing I'm creating, but there's something wrong with it, or there's a cymbal flam or something, and it just kills me, bro. I wish you hadn't brought it up.
Yeah. Producing is hard. Producing is so freaking hard. Like you get like a mix and you've been waiting for like 4 weeks for this mix. And like you said, the kick is too loud and the gut reaction is like, do you even have fucking ears? Do you not hear how loud this kick is? You fucking imbecile. That's like, you know, obviously you don't say that. That's just kind of the gut emotional, reaction. I do want to know more about the the producing process, the recording process? Like, you wrote the songs via Zoom. Where did you track them? Who tracked them? Like, short form takes versus long form takes, and editing process. You had Jacob and Anoop also, I guess, tracking remotely and sending you stuff. Like, we don't have to cover all that, but tell me a little bit about producing a record with 4 completely remote people.
Well, Adam, you kind of came into your own recording zone with this one, right?
So Ollie had like demos with, program bass and drums and everything that he wrote. And then, bouncing him off of me, I have a room that I record in, and just demoing stuff. And like, I can demo anything, whatever, it's fine. And like put on some compression, EQ, reverb or delay and call it a day. But I never really get surgical with my own stems and really go in and edit them myself. It's usually Bentley or someone else in my band that goes through and really like edits and fine tunes everything. So this was the first time that I had to like sit down for finals, like, because the demos were all recorded and then I go and track them again. I must have sang each song like 10 times. I just wanted it to sound really good and then get into like comping and that probably took like just as much time as like writing a lot of this, because I'd never done it before. So like learning how to do that and learning how to do it properly so that when someone like Nolly gets them, it actually works, was pretty crazy for me, but that worked out. I can't speak on like how Jacob and Anoop do things. But I think Ollie for one song, like he had recorded a few times, and then he has a homie that was willing to do it for him a few times. But yeah, you can speak on the guitar stuff.
but so you were doing vocals like in your closet or something?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I have a UAD Apollo and like a shield and like some proofing. And
is it one of those crazy shields you like stick your head in?
Oh no. It's just like a back shield. But yeah, I mean, cool. I think they sound okay. And then a lot of the time, like I think at first Ollie and I were like going through the stems individually and getting a little too crazy because some things like you won't hear in the mix.
What's crazy?
Like a fade or a comp in like 1 out of 8 voices on like the left side had like a little thing, and we were like, oh, that you have to go retract that. And then we realized like quickly like that's not gonna do anything. It sounds nearly identical to what a perfect version of that would be, so that's cool. But it was really thing. Yeah.
So just to shed a little light on that, I think the first one you did finals for was intro. Is that correct?
Maybe. Yeah, I think so.
I think intro is the first one I looked through, and intro, it starts with some really layered vocals, and Adam sends me, let's say the opening phrases are, I don't know, what are they, 20, 30 voices?
Yeah. I sent you like, there were like 100 options for all these voices. Like I got way too into it. Like typical musician just suffering from obsession. Like I got way too into like trying to find out what the perfect set of harmonies and like contour would be, and just throwing them in Ollie's lap. It's like, I don't know what to do. So we kind of just,
we went on a call. We went through each by each. I listened to them all each by each, and I was like, the "t" on this line isn't as strong as the "t" on this line, but this is a good take. Just losing my fucking mind over it.
Oh my God.
I think we agreed. Well, we didn't agree, but we just unspokenly did not do that with the rest of the tunes. It was just like, does it sound good in context? Fine. Because in my brain, that's the natural thing to do. You put a magnifying glass on it and you go like, is this or not? But
if you're to do that to like a whole album, you could write a whole entire song with the amount of time that would take, and then it'll still sound the same as if you didn't do it at all. Because in the mix, like you don't hear any of that shit.
Until you do.
Until you do. But we were very like we were primed to like not have many of those, if any at all. So.
There's also a saying, you do everything the way you do anything. So like if you have the precedent to be perfect on one, If you lose the precedent to be perfect on one thing, chances are you're gonna lose the precedent to. It's gonna be the beginning of like a snowball that's gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, and this is the thing: if you make everything perfect, it will sound like a robot or a kindergarten song, and that's something I struggle with a lot. So Adam, Anoop, and Jacob were all self-sufficient when it came to recording. I definitely I paid for studio time because with all the stress I put on myself with like the quality of the song and all that shit, I cannot hit record and edit my own takes as well. It would never have got done.
Yeah.
So
you went somewhere for guitar and had someone help you out with the guitar engineering?
Yeah, exactly. 100%. And he's the guy over here for that. And like still with 2 ears in the room, someone doing all the editing for me and I just play, there are still things on the EP where I'm like, fuck, I could have done that better. And even Waves, for example, I recorded that 3 times and I was going to go for a 4th. I ended up using the first one, obviously.
It's usually what happens.
I lose my mind over this shit. And just to touch on the editing thing or long takes thing, I won't lie, I should practice more. We always try and go for the most natural take and the longest takes we can. But if needs must, I'll chop or punch or do whatever it takes. I won't slow down and speed up. I refuse to do that. But if a phrase is just not, because this is the other thing, you could have the best morning of your life and the weather could be amazing and you get to the studio with all the energy and had the best sleep. And then the simplest thing is just not happening today. It's just not, for no good reason. So those kind of things, instead of wasting studio money time, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's already really stressful and you already get like completely mentally burnt out by the end of the day. I'll punch something or shift something. I need to do it. And guitars aren't in tune. Even if it's amazing and it's in tune all the time, it's still not. Yep. When you get beyond the 12th fret or something like this. Or there could be fret buzz. And then I've got to argue with Merrick. He's like, oh no, but that makes it sound played. And I'm like, bollocks, I don't care. Get rid of the fret buzz.
This is not good. Yeah.
Getting guitars reset up mid-tracking because I'm losing my mind over this little buzz or ting or clink. Like, this is just part of it. But I think it's got to the stage now where I know that that's coming. Like, I know that the recording process isn't the fun bit. I've always said the fun bit is hitting upload. Like, today is the fucking fun bit. Today, Imbalance is out. But sweating and stressing or tracking a song, listening to it on the way back on the tube and realizing the entire thing's out of tune and I have to do it again tomorrow. This stuff is no bueno.
Yeah. Yeah, man, tough life. So do you have any merch for this stuff or?
Not yet.
No. Just going streaming. Sick. I got one last question. It was intro written intro written at the end, like as like, oh, I need some kind of thing here to set up the whole album, or was that like an idea you had and later thought, oh, this would be good for the intro?
I don't remember.
You don't really know? Because intros are tough. Usually I'll like write. I never really know when a song is gonna, or when a riff is actually the intro, or if I write something and I realize, oh, this needs an intro. So I don't know. I've always been intrigued by intros, but
I think Animals and Waves were always going to be a thing, and then intro is something I maybe pitched to Adam, like we could also do this, but I kind of don't want to make it a full song. And then Sirens as well. I think I had bits of it. And I think I said to Adam, like, if you like it, I'll finish it. If you think you can sing over it. I think it kind of went like that, but I'm not sure. I think it was just initially going to be like a 2-pack.
Oh, you were going to initially make it a 2-song EP?
Yeah, just like 2. I think that was the initial. It was never initially supposed to be 4 things. I'm glad it is. But I think initially, yeah, I was going to send Adam 2 structured songs that he would sing over and we would release. But then
it's kind of grew.
Somehow, somewhere, yeah, things happened. And those intro and Sirens are the most progressive ones as well. They're the ones
Yeah.
that don't have pop structures. They're a bit more risky, a bit more different, a bit less quantifiable. So, and that I really think that like helps the strength of the EP. So I'm glad we did it.
Sweet. Yeah. I'm glad you came up with anything like, yeah, once you hit 4 songs, it feels like a solid something. It's like, oh dang, this has got some meat on it.
I do not have to do any more. Yeah. I had that. Let me just add that. I had that with a friend I was working with a couple of years ago where we'd written an album. I think it was 10 tracks, and we listened through to it, and I was like, you need 2 more bangers. And he was in that position you were in where it's like, oh, okay, I think we're done. I think we're there. And I was like, needs 2 more, and they need to bang as well. Not 2 more just for track length, but 2 more high energy tunes. And so that added like another month on the end of it. But again, it was worth it in the end.
Yeah, well, that's the challenging part about a 4-track release is that they kind of all have to be bangers. You can't really have any like fluff on there. If you release a full length
side on you, yeah.
No. If you have a full length album, like 8 tracks, like you can set up track 4 with like one of your, not so great tunes, and set up the final track like right before the final track, one of your not so great tunes, or like even an ambient track, like, oh brother, like like, oh, we need an ambient track on this. Like we're almost at 40 minutes on this album. Like who wants to hit like, who wants to hold down C on this MIDI patch and just let this MIDI sound like roll out for a minute and a half? But yeah, sick. Well, it's a sick EP, and I'm excited for you that it's out and you get to finally enjoy the fruits of your labor. And I hope you get tons and tons of new listeners. You get those kids hooked on it, so they listen to the next 10 releases.
It's going good so far. Let's hope they're all 17, right? Pause.